In the 2024 UK general election, Labour secured a commanding 63% of parliamentary seats, with just 33.7% of the popular vote, while Reform UK garnered 14.3% of votes, but only 5 seats. This stark disparity highlights growing concerns about the fairness of the UK's electoral system. Compounding these issues, the introduction of mandatory photo ID requirements led to reports of voters being turned away, particularly among marginalised groups. These developments raise pressing questions. Are systemic flaws and recent policies effectively silencing voters in the UK's general elections? The 2024 general election, a crisis of legitimacy. The 2024 UK general election exposed significant flaws in the country's electoral system. Labour's victory, securing 411 out of 650 seats with only 33.7% of the vote, marked the most disproportionate result in modern British history. Conversely, Reform UK received 14.3% of the national vote, but won just 5 seats, highlighting the limitations of the first-past-the-post system. This discrepancy has sparked widespread criticism and calls for electoral reform. Political scientists and advocacy groups argue that the current system fails to represent the electorate's will accurately, undermining the legitimacy of the democratic process. The Electoral Reform Society and other organizations have intensified their campaigns for a more proportional voting system, emphasizing the need to restore public confidence in electoral outcomes. Voter ID laws, protecting integrity or suppressing votes. The Elections Act 2022 introduced mandatory photo ID requirements for voters in the UK, first implemented in the 2023 local elections and expanded to the 2024 general election. While intended to safeguard electoral integrity, these measures have raised concerns about voter suppression. Reports indicate that thousands of voters were turned away for lacking acceptable identification, with marginalized groups, such as the elderly, students, and ethnic minorities, being disproportionately affected. The Electoral Commission estimated that up to 750,000 people may have been deterred from voting due to these requirements. Critics argue that the policy addresses a virtually non-existent problem of voter fraud while creating significant barriers to participation. Advocacy groups, including Liberty and the Electoral Reform Society, have called for a review of the ID requirements, suggesting that the laws may infringe upon fundamental democratic rights. The debate continues over whether the pursuit of electoral security justifies the potential disenfranchisement of vulnerable populations. The registration maze. Barriers to participation. The UK's voter registration system is among the most challenging in liberal democracies, requiring individuals to actively register, adhere to strict deadlines, and vote at designated polling stations. Unlike countries with automatic registration, the UK mandates that voters proactively enroll, a process that can be particularly burdensome for transient populations. Research from the University of Manchester highlights that only 65% of renters are accurately registered, compared to 95% of long-term homeowners. Frequent relocations, often due to evictions, exacerbate this issue, making it difficult for renters to maintain up-to-date registration. Young adults, students, and ethnic minorities are also disproportionately affected, leading to significant underrepresentation in the electoral roll. Campaigners advocate for automatic voter registration, AVR, using existing government records to simplify the process and enfranchise millions. The Labour Party is considering AVR as part of a democracy bill aimed at increasing participation and ensuring a more inclusive electoral system. Declining turnout, a symptom of disenfranchisement. The 2024 UK general election witnessed a voter turnout of just 52% among eligible adults, marking the lowest participation rate since the establishment of universal suffrage in 1928. This decline is attributed to factors such as voter apathy, disillusionment with political parties, and systemic barriers like complex registration processes and stringent ID requirements. The turnout gap between homeowners and renters has widened to 19 percentage points, reflecting growing inequalities in political engagement. Constituencies with higher proportions of younger voters, renters, and ethnic minorities exhibited notably lower turnout rates. Analysts warn that such disparities undermine democratic legitimacy and risk fostering policies that neglect underrepresented groups. In response, proposals like automatic voter registration and lowering the voting age to 16 are being considered to enhance inclusivity and restore confidence in the democratic process. The rise of populism, a response to silenced voices. The 2024 UK general election marked a significant shift in the political landscape, with Reform UK, led by Nigel Farage, emerging as a formidable force. Despite securing 14.3% of the national vote, the party won only 5 seats, highlighting the disparities of the first-past-the-post system. This underrepresentation has fueled sentiments of disenfranchisement among voters who feel their voices are not adequately reflected in Parliament. Reform UK's rise is largely attributed to public disillusionment with mainstream parties. Many voters perceive Labour and the Conservatives as out of touch with everyday concerns, particularly on issues like immigration, economic inequality, and national identity. Farage's populist messaging resonates with those who feel neglected by the political elite, offering a platform that promises to address their grievances directly. The implications of this shift are profound. The traditional two-party system faces unprecedented challenges as Reform UK gains traction, potentially altering future electoral dynamics. Mainstream parties are now compelled to reassess their strategies and address the underlying causes of voter dissatisfaction to prevent further erosion of their support base. Potential solutions: restoring faith in democracy. To address the growing concerns over democratic representation, several reforms are being considered. One prominent proposal is the adoption of proportional representation, PR, to replace the current first-past-the-post system. PR aims to allocate seats in Parliament more accurately based on the percentage of votes each party receives, ensuring a fairer reflection of the electorate's will. In December 2024, a symbolic vote in the House of Commons saw MPs support the introduction of PR, signalling a shift in parliamentary attitudes towards electoral reform. Simplifying the voter registration process is another critical area of focus. Currently, the UK's registration system poses challenges, particularly for transient populations like renters and young people. Implementing automatic voter registration could streamline the process, making it more accessible and reducing barriers to participation. Enhancing civic education and public engagement is equally vital. Educating citizens about their rights and the importance of voting can empower more individuals to participate actively in the democratic process. Community outreach programs and educational initiatives can play a significant role in fostering a more informed and engaged electorate. If you found this breakdown insightful, please subscribe to Britain Briefing for more deep dives into UK politics. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think voter reform is overdue? Let's get the conversation going.